how Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is operating, and what is the strategy of this terror organization, which is based in Afghanistan but operating easily through its agents and recruits in Pakistan.
Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is just another name for TTP. Its agenda, targeting strategy, recruitment strategy, and strategic objectives are almost identical to TTP. The recruitment strategy of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar indicates that they have a very sophisticated and advanced reliance on internet, targeting minorities and targeting Pakistan's law enforcement agencies.
True.
That indicates a two-pronged targeting strategy. Number one, to weaken, demoralize, and directly attack and cause heavy damage on the law enforcement agencies. And secondly, to target the ethnic and religious fault lines within Pakistan. The entire recruitment, planning, facilitation, targeting, support, financial assistance of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is being carried out from Afghanistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in B News English. And in one of the extraordinary developments in Pakistan is that the police chief of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, Mr. Akhtar Hayat Khan Gandapur, at a news conference gave some of the shocking details about KP police constable who was one of the facilitator and supporter of some of the deadly terrorist incidents in Peshawar, particularly at Jama Masjid Police Lines, Peshawar, almost 2 years ago, in which 101 total casualties occurred. So, and the confessional statement of the police constable, who was Muhammad Wali, that was also shown on television screens. It was pre-recorded, in which the police constable confessed in playing a facilitator's role in carrying out some of the deadly terrorist attacks. The police constable, Muhammad Wali, also admitted that he has been to Afghanistan, where he visited some of the training and terror camps of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, which is one of the terrorist organization affiliated with Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan. And he got training from them, he got instructions from them, and unfortunately, finally, he was on the payroll of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar. Then he returns to Peshawar, and finally, on the instructions of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, he carried out not only this Peshawar police line, one of the biggest terrorist attack, but he has been also involved in target killing of important persons in Peshawar. So what prompted policeman, a constable of Khyber police, to come to this particular level, despite being recruited in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police, despite being well paid, despite the fact that he was given training, and how these terror organizations, including Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, which is based in Afghanistan, then traps certain people, including the policeman from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police. How deadly this Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is, what is the strategy of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, and how Pakistan can tackle with Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, how its strategy could be further prevented from being implemented in Pakistan. To discuss these all, we are fortunate to have with us one of the senior most expert on security affairs, security analyst, Dr. Syed Muhammad Ali Saab. Assalamu alaikum, and very warm welcome to program Insight. Dr. Saab, you have also seen that live press briefing by the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police chief, Akhtar Hayat Khan Gandapur, in which he gave all the details, including his pre-recorded confessional statement of Muhammad Wali, who was one of the constable working with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police. But question is, these all details have already been shared. How Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is operating, and what is the strategy of this terror organization, which is based in Afghanistan but operating easily through its agents and recruits in Pakistan?
Thank you for this opportunity, Mateen Saab. I think it's a very important and informative press briefing by the Inspector General of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. And it helps us understand the planning, the recruitment, the targeting strategy, the financial arrangement, the facilitation system of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar. And I think Pakistan's official sources believe that Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is just another name for TTP.
Just
another name. Its agenda, targeting strategy, recruitment strategy, and strategic objectives are almost identical to TTP. In fact, Jamaat-ul-Ahrar itself was founded by one of the main commanders of TTP, which is designated as a terror organization, one of the most...
Then what could be the purpose of creating another terror organization?
I think sometimes there are political, diplomatic and tactical reasons, because there could be some differences or conflict between different commanders who share the ideology, but their rank and file, their financial arrangements and their recruitment plan could be slightly different. And they seek their own autonomous space, which have similar objectives, but they desire an autonomous structure for greater freedom of attack and action, but also to get separate funding from the international sources. When such commanders grow within the organization, there is a limit to which they can grow within an organization. So then they establish another organization with a different name in order to get direct funding from international sources. I think first, if we look at the recruitment strategy, that is the most interesting aspect, that as is commonly believed that, Afghanistan is a backward province and there is not much literacy and education. The recruitment strategy of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar indicates that they have a very sophisticated and advanced reliance on internet for engaging, cultivating, influencing and recruiting potential assets. And in this case, as this person has himself admitted, he was influenced, engaged and cultivated through Facebook. That means that they have a plan to target and carefully engage and cultivate people within the law enforcement agencies.
Through Facebook.
Yes. So that they play a critical role within the organizational setup to facilitate and help and provide target intelligence, which is not possible for a common person. So that indicates a sophisticated recruitment strategy based on Facebook. Secondly, once he was engaged and cultivated, he himself admitted that he took a week-long leave from police and he traveled across the border to Afghanistan, where he was asked to swear an oath of allegiance, which is an ideological requirement
which he did,
and ensure that he remains ideologically committed to Jamaat-ul-Ahrar's objectives and direction and commands. After that, he underwent, training, recruitment, facilitation, and guidance. When he was asked to return back, and he was deployed in the police lines of Peshawar.
He remained in police after returning from Afghanistan.
Because he was more useful for Jamaat-ul-Ahrar within police than outside police.
So deadly.
Because he was asked to provide maps and other intelligence information related to internal security mechanism of police lines with Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, which helped them design a plan which led to the very heavy casualties in the deadly attack, which led to the loss of more than 100 lives of policemen in Peshawar. And he was asked to bring the suicide bomber along with him, physically bring him to the target, give him the suicide jacket and all the things. So he was using his uniform to penetrate the police system on behalf of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar. And secondly, later on, he was asked to target a Christian priest as well.
In Peshawar.
In Peshawar.
He was finally assassinated.
Yes. And thirdly, he provided arms for the killing of another minority Qadiani person as well. Now, the choice of these three targets indicate what sort of targeting strategy Jamaat-ul-Ahrar has been tasked with. That is very important. That indicates that the
targeting
task,
minorities,
targeting minorities, and targeting Pakistan's law enforcement agencies.
True.
That indicates a two-pronged targeting strategy. Number one, to weaken, demoralize, and directly attack and cause heavy damage on the law enforcement agencies. And secondly, to target the ethnic and religious fault lines within Pakistan.
True.
Not only to deepen the distrust, but also to harm Pakistan's international image as a country which is not tolerant and respectful towards minorities. So I think this is very clear footprint of Indian strategic agenda setting and facilitation in order to use Jamaat-ul-Ahrar for a specific purpose of weakening and targeting Pakistan's law enforcement agencies, but also to bringing bad name and image for Pakistan internationally.
That's true that you rightly mentioned that his agenda was to target minorities so that a distress could be created within the minorities that they are not safe, and then also to distort Pakistan's image internationally. So Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, as you said, is based in Afghanistan. Pakistan is already fighting effectively with Fitna al-Khawarij, that is banned TTP's new name. And you said this is one of the faction within the TTP which emerged and now carrying out subversive activities, terrorist activities in Pakistan. How Pakistani law enforcement agencies, after these disclosures by Muhammad Hayat, then how effectively our security agencies and our police high-ups, our intelligence can bring out reforms, change within the law enforcement agencies, and to detect certain elements might be associated. We are not sure, but might be associated like Muhammad Hayat. So is it possible that carrying out major overhaul of KP police or under the KP police, there are certain other departments, even police intelligence section, which is known as special branch. So do you strongly believe that these civilian law enforcement agencies need to go through an overhaul?
I think in order to benefit from this very precious information which Pakistan has received by capturing this Jamaat-ul-Ahrar asset within the ranks of police, I think it is precious and critical. And it is very important that this valuable and precious information is used to improve and refine our counterterrorism strategy in a comprehensive, consistent, and multi-domain manner.
True.
I think initially I can talk about two dimensions, the external dimension and the internal dimension. First off, I think it is very important and obvious that the entire recruitment, planning, facilitation, targeting, support, financial assistance of Jamaat-ul-Ahrar is being carried out from Afghanistan. Secondly, as this person has admitted, he joined police in 2019. This means that Jamaat-ul-Ahrar has been engaged in recruiting, training, facilitating and attacking Pakistani interests at least for the last 5 years.
5-6 years, exactly.
Okay. And thirdly, so it is very important that Pakistan's diplomacy needs to be very effective both at bilateral and multilateral level. At bilateral level, on several occasions, very high-level visits have taken place, and you are aware, to Kabul, to convince them that eradicating terrorism from Afghan soil is in Afghan people's own interest. Secondly, I think it needs to be reinforced with a very effective multilateral diplomacy. First, with all the neighboring countries of Afghanistan. Recently, you remember there was a major clash on Afghanistan-Iran border, which led to the loss of almost 18 people's lives. So it means that even Iran shares concerns from Afghanistan. And Afghanistan, unfortunately, has become again a source of instability and terror promotion throughout this region. So the Central Asian countries, China, Pakistan, Iran, need to develop a collective approach to diplomatically convince Afghan government that they need to live up to their international obligations and behave responsibly and eradicate terrorism from their soil. That is the diplomatic dimension. Now let's focus on the internal things that we can do. I completely agree with you that first off, I think
there should be an overhaul.
It indicates major gaps in the internal security and counterintelligence mechanism within the police system.
True.
Because this guy was operating for almost 5 years with impunity within the police system.
Exactly.
And he had access to weapons and he had access to so many things, which requires that there needs to be a system of counterintelligence within the police system as well. Thirdly, it indicates that unfortunately the over 580 billion rupees have been allocated
to KP government.
To KP government to
Where
improve,
that money has gone?
To improve the counter-terrorism department. I think it is very important that the provincial government of KPK must realize the gravity of this national security threat posed by terrorists, and they need to immediately allocate adequate funds as an evidence of their commitment against terrorism. Because without that, economic activity and development activity cannot take place in their own province, which is the political interest of the government.
Prime Minister in the past, sorry for interruption, has spoken on record that this particular fund that you mentioned, it was huge money, but it was not utilized properly.
The third very important aspect is cybersecurity, because it is very unfortunate and alarming that how a police official was recruited through Facebook. So it is very important that some sort of institutional mechanism should be developed, which allows Pakistani state institutions to monitor and regulate both the technology
content going on
the
social media,
of on the cyberspace, to ensure the communication, the engagement, and the narratives are not, a threat to the national security of Pakistan. That is very important. And the fourth aspect is the financial aspect. An app was being used, and also Hawala and Hundi was being used for this person to receive money from his terror sponsors. So that is important, that the financial gaps within our financial system, which allows criminals and terrorists to transfer money and finance terror activities, must also be controlled and eradicated. That's the third aspect. The fourth aspect is, I think, very important, that the political aspect is significant, that both the provincial and federal government, irrespective of their political differences, must not do politics on
very
issues
point.
Of national security such as
should be
terrorism.
Our politics.
It is above politics, because terrorists do not look at our political, ideological, cultural, gender or class differences. They see Pakistan as a threat, as a target, and they are targeting us. When those hundreds of policemen were killed, nobody was looking at their sect, their color. They were just looking at their function. They were just looking at the fact that they are policemen and they need to be eliminated. So that is something which our political leadership must realize, and both provincial and federal government must cooperate in a very effective manner to eradicate this terrorist threat amicably. Lastly, a very important role is of media and academia. because it allows our youth to be vulnerable to such misleading and dangerous narratives and cultivation by hostile forces.
True.
So our media, both digital and electronic media,
And print media.
must be very responsible in ensuring that any narrative which allows our hostile forces to cultivate, engage, and mislead our youth must be controlled and reduced. Whereas our religious scholars, our teachers and professors in schools, colleges, and madrasas,
Their role is very, very
there
important.
is very important that while you are free to practice any way of life which is peaceful, legal, and respects our constitution, it must not promote hate speech and intolerance in a manner which allows our youth to be cultivated by terrorist forces. So I think with these few suggestions, if they are timely considered in a comprehensive manner, and this successful eradication of the terrorist network within the police system allows us to improve and refine our counterterrorism strategy. I'm hopeful that Pakistan will make major gains in the near future against the threat of terrorism.
Last, time is very limited. I would like to seek your comment. Recently, a meeting was arranged also between KP Governor and Chief Minister so that both may have cordial relation. But we have seen in the media, which is fact, that KP Chief Minister is utilizing all the resources for a specific political agenda. And these deadly developments, these terrorism incidents are not focused, which you rightly mentioned. So don't you think Chief Minister should focus more within his province in counter-terrorism than holding demonstration and utilizing police force for these developments?
It's very unfortunate. The KPK Chief Minister needs to act rationally and responsibly. He has a huge responsibility in that province, which is the front line
and under attack
and most affected by terrorism. I think our Chinese friends also expect that responsible, foolproof security mechanism should be ensured to improve their confidence in Pakistan's security mechanism to protect their people and investments. But not just for Chinese expectation. I think it is also in our own interest that the money and resources that they are receiving are timely, effectively, and optimally used to build and improve the capacity of our law enforcement agencies, particularly counterterrorism department, so that this rising threat of terrorism is controlled and eradicated, and not only the people of KPK but the entire Pakistan, enjoy the benefits of peace, security, stability, and progress.
Thank you so much indeed, Dr. Syed Muhammad Ali Saab. Despite your very busy schedule, this was one of the most important development and disclosures made by KP Police Chief, and you gave a very insightful analysis of these all developments, particularly the terror outfits which are based in Afghanistan, like Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, its link, and how Pakistan can effectively tackle this menace. Once again, thank you so much, dear viewers. Till our next program, Allah Hafiz and goodbye from studios.